What's going on, market makers? Lee is on vacation for the week, so no intro. You're just stuck with my boring self going over the markets. He'll be back next week, but this is going to be on the S&P, NASDAQ, and the DAX. The Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum video comes out right after this one. Be sure to like, subscribe, click the hype button if you like my content. I would appreciate it. And if you want to join us on the Discord or get my video updates throughout the week on YouTube, then click the join button right there on YouTube to be a market maker member. Let's go ahead and jump into this. If you've been watching me since April of last year, I would put up my TA against anybody in the space because every target's been hit. Our bottoming target of 48.20 was hit. My base bull case of 7,000 was hit. My max bull case of 7,500 was hit. And I still think you have higher to go. The thumbnail tells you rotation, not sell-off. Already yesterday, I saw Black Monday thumbnails on YouTube expecting a Black Monday. NASDAQ's up 3%, okay? It's not a Black Monday. And you have the S&P recovering 1.5% at the time of this recording. So let's go over the key moves in the market because we have SpaceX coming out this Friday. Largest IPO in history. And I believe Friday past was just raising funds for SpaceX. It's supposed to come out at $135 a share. It's going to be massively oversubscribed. Institutions will put in massive block orders, knowing it's not going to get completely filled. You could see SpaceX go really high, get squeezed higher on price. I wouldn't be surprised to see it hit 250. Even though it's coming out at 135, you could easily see that happen, and everybody wants a piece of it. So the high flyers are being trimmed. The heat map this past Friday was bright red because everything's been going up in the high flying space, and they're trimming it to raise funds. Keep in mind how bullish this cycle is. When everybody was preaching doom and gloom, 50% crashes since last April, I told you this is a historic cycle akin to the 1990s, akin to the 1920s. We're in the roaring 2020s, and what you're going to have is the S&P ultimately get above 10K come 2028. This year alone, $800 billion was spent in CapEx on AI. That doubles next year to $1.6 trillion. These are huge tailwinds for a continued lift in the market, and most people are going to miss it. They missed out on the historic rally in 2025. They missed out on the historic rally in 2026, and they're going to miss out on the next move as well. Market symmetry is very important here in the market. Look at the S&P since the cycle began back in the pandemic. 2,650 point up wave, 1,350 down. 2650 up, 1350 down, and right now we're at 2812 up. We're in overtime. My targets were hit, and I still think it can go higher. I told you the first resistance, 77, 7,800, and we hit 76.25. We're at 74.65 right now, and I think we can still go higher because look at the catalyst. If anything can get resolved with Iran, you will have oil collapse, you will have the markets rip higher, you're going to have more inflows with SpaceX announced. It is going to be a liquidity suck, but it's a rotational suck, and you can have more inflows on top of that come into the marketplace on historic earnings outside of a recession, okay? So that's what we're looking at symmetrically. Now, I'm going to show you something, and this might kind of blow some people's minds. How high can this market get this summer in this summer rally? As you guys know, the last 3 Julys, we've rallied out in the summer cycle all the way to July the last 3 years in a row. 83.21. How is that even possible? We have these 1,350 point dips that have happened after each up wave. If we get to 83.21, that 1,350 point dip drops you right back down at 7,000. Makes perfect sense to me from a technical perspective before going back up. That'd be a 16% drop. That would require us to climb another 900 points to get there. Could it happen? I know it sounds crazy, but let's look and see what this chart tells us. So back when we had our 48.20 low, right? Actually went to 48.12. A week ahead of time, I gave you 48.20, the exact level. This is where I got all bulled up here, shared my trades, shared my longs, and this was a historic 45% rally to the upside, hitting our bull case at 7K, our max bull case at 7,500. When you look at the next levels of resistance, 78.09, 83.20. And then the beautiful trend line. Why is a trend line important? Who cares? It's just a trend line. The trend line marries time and price when it's laid out correctly and it's respected. And this trend line was used as support. It also predicted the top for the drop, the pullback, right, with the Iran war, and then the next historic rally, strongest rally since the early 1980s, gave us our level, exceeded 7,500, went to 76.25, and as of right now, you're up nicely, about 1.5%, 1.43%, and you're holding support. Where's your support at right now on the S&P? Your support is right here at 73.40, right? You have lower levels beneath that, but as of right now, you're forming a range, a trading range to have volatility, CPIs this week, SpaceX's this week, and if you get a breakout to the upside, look for 7,800, and then after that, if you can flip 7,800, guess where it's going? By late July, on the trend line, 83.21. That's in 2 months. 900 points, is it possible? Again, I'm not predicting that as a base case. I do think you can easily see 7,800. Could you take longer to get to 83.21? Of course, we're just looking at the trend line, how it's been respected. So that's possible on a timeline here. But again, there's just big tailwinds. If you can get resolution with Iran, oil collapses, I know that this is going higher this summer because the tailwinds are so strong. So if we do get to 83.21, you complete that symmetrical move, whether it's in July or August, of a 1,350 point drop, finding support right at 7,000 for your next leg up in the most bullish time of the year, November to April. 2027 is going to be a ripper. These are generational gains we're talking about. 10K plus on the S&P in 2028, right? Generational gains. This doesn't come along a lot. S&P typically moves at 1% a month. So we're talking about massive, massive moves. Let's look at the NASDAQ. Look how the trend line played out on the NASDAQ, right? So found as support, predicted the top. Here is our target all the way from the low down here. Keep in mind that NASDAQ low was 16,335. I predicted 26.2. And you got there here, you got there here again, and then our max bull case, 28.4, also hit, and you went into overtime. But look how the trend line acted. The trend line gave you the top, right? You got the top for the retracement, then you had the surge back up, hit the trend line again, got a pullback, broke above the trend line, and fell back below the trend line right to support. Where's your support here on the NASDAQ? If we just look at this, open this up, you fell right to it. 28.6, you fell down to it, and now you're up over 3% in the NASDAQ, ripping higher as the doomers keep telling you the AI bubble is going to pop and you're going down 50%. You're going to get a large retracement, just not happening yet. Next key level in the NASDAQ is almost 32K, 31.8. Flip the trend line, you're going back up to this area. 32K is the next key level in the NASDAQ. Again, every target has been hit so far. Really proud of that. If we look at the DAX, for our European friends, by the way, guys, you want to trade these markets? Check out SimpleFX. If you live outside the US, you live outside Canada, check out SimpleFX. It's the only exchange I know of that has a very special first-time deposit deal. Up to 50% on your first-time deposit, up to 5K. If you deposit 10K, you get an additional 5K to trade with right away. And it's a beautiful, beautiful app. You guys would absolutely love it. So check it out. Our link is in the video description. Be a Market Makers VIP. So here we are on the DAX. You fell to support right here at the 54 RMA. Now, I saw on X, people were pointing out, if you use simple moving averages, the DAX just got a golden cross. Well, that's nice. I use RMAs. RMAs are far more accurate. You know when the DAX got a golden cross with the RMAs? 2023. You're up 80% since the golden cross. So check out RMAs. I'm doing an RMA trading course if you guys want to check that out. It'll be on the Discord as well. I'm building that now as we speak, but they're far more accurate, I believe. Anyways, if you look at the DAX, 24,335, that's your support right here. Your support beneath there is 23 and change, 23.5, 23.6. That's the support. Where's the target on the DAX? If the US markets continue to pull up, you're going to see the DAX take out 25,550, and the ultimate target up here would be 27,270 in the summer rally if you can continue higher. Resistance at 26.1, 26.6, and then 27,270 are the key levels. Now, European markets facing some different struggles, ECB, hiking rates, things like that. So you're going to watch and see how the DAX reacts. But overall, this is not a bearish formation on the DAX. You're holding the 50. If you get something bearish, it would look probably more like this. Your double top, come back up, either fail at resistance below 25,550, and it may just mean more chop. But if it breaks down, we can look at the next levels down. But as of right now, bouncing off the 50, everything wants to climb, and you'll have other markets climb just by the ancillary effect of the US markets continuing to surge, okay? DAX has been a great winner over the last few years, therefore the people that are trading it. Guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Bitcoin video out next. Be sure to check that out and leave me some comments, and I hope to see you on the Discord. Talk to you guys soon.